The sky didn't crack when it happened. There were no lightning bolts, no trumpets. Just a quiet click of a latch and a girl walking away with a pocket full of eternity. Most thieves run from the law. She's running from the architecture of reality itself.
In my years of investigations, I've had all kinds of people walk into the station, but I'll never forget the day Father Todd sat across from my desk. He didn't look like he was there to report a crime. He looked like he was carrying the weight of a soul, he told me. Someone has stolen from God. Most officers would have laughed or told him it was a civil matter. But as an investigator, you learn to listen to the tone of a report. There was a fear in his eyes that wasn't about money or gold. I asked him, "Father, what exactly is missing?" His answer didn't make sense at first. He wasn't talking about a chalice or a collection box. He was talking about a woman. The investigation began right there. We weren't just looking for a thief. We are looking for a thief. We were looking for someone who had crossed a line that most people are too afraid to even touch. I went to the church that evening to see the crime scene for myself, and that's when I saw the first clue. When I arrived at Father Todd's church, I wasn't looking for fingerprints yet. I was looking for a pattern. Every thief leaves a signature. Most intruders break a lock or smash a window, but here, there was no forced entry. The thief knew exactly which floorboards didn't creak. I watched Father Todd. As he walked me through the halls, I realized the suspect hadn't just stolen, she had moved through this sanctuary like she lived there. She knew the blind spots of the statues. This is what we call familiarization. It's the most dangerous part of a case. It means the predator and the prey have shared bread. It means the betrayal started long before the crime. I asked Father Todd, "Who has the keys to your heart as well as your doors?" His silence gave me the answer I was looking for. He knew the suspect, and he was terrified for her. The investigation was no longer about a missing object. It was about a girl who used her knowledge of God's house to commit a sin. In a case like this, physical evidence only gets you so far. I knew we needed the public's eyes. I sat Father Todd down and told him, "It's time to post her." I advised him to put her image on Facebook, not for revenge, but for identification. But I gave him one strict rule: save every copy. Once the internet starts talking, the truth gets messy. We waited in an investigation. The silence after a public post is the loudest part. You wonder if she'll see it first, or if a neighbor will. And the physical appearance of the suspect surprised me. She didn't look like a criminal. She looked like someone you'd trust with your kids or your keys. She looked innocent. That's the danger of familiarity. While the comment section was doing the real work, archiving screenshots, timestamps, IP locations. Because once a suspect realizes the world is watching, they start deleting their tracks. We had her face. We had her name. Now we had to find out where she went with what she stole from God. The moment Father Todd hit the post, the clock started ticking. I told him to stay off the comments, but I stayed on them. I was looking for one specific person. Hundreds of people were just shocked. But then, tucked between the amens and the how dares, a single comment appeared. It wasn't an accusation. It was a location. Someone recognized her, not from the church and not as a thief. They recognized her from a completely different life. They said, "I just saw her. She's not where you think she is." This is where the suspect made her biggest mistake. She thought the church was her only world. She forgot that in the digital age, everyone is a witness. The girl who stole from God had left a trail in the most ordinary place. I cross-referenced that comment with the evidence I told Father Todd to save. It matched the physical description, the timing, the familiar habits. The trap was set.
By 10:09 p.m., a single post on the Flash Report page's social media page ignited a wildfire. Her image, stark and unblinking, was shared, commented on, scrutinized. Then came the whisper that became a shout. "That's Elaine." The message landed on Father Tout Messenger, a digital echo of a betrayal. The net was closing, tighter than any physical trap. He immediately contacted the investigator handling the case. The chase had begun. The next morning, the air felt heavy with an unspoken tension. Elaine sat by the usual sari-sari store, trying to merge with the everyday hum of life. But every stranger is judged. She hadn't slept, haunted by the rustle of cash and the image of her son's fading smile. Then she saw it. A patrol car, unmistakable, turning down her street. Her breath caught. No, it couldn't be. Not yet. But they were. The officers, in their uniforms crisp, their expressions grim. And beside them, in civilian clothes, was Father Tout, her face etched with a mix of sorrow and duty.
"Elaine, you are being placed under arrest for the crime of robbery with force upon things."
The words hung in the air, heavy and final. Then came the litany of her rights, in her native tongue, clear and unambiguous. The right to remain silent, the right to a lawyer, the right against torture. She listened, her gaze fixed on the ground, acknowledging each point with a small, defeated nod. They recovered the evidence. From her possession, the familiar blue sling bag, now a symbol of her undoing. Inside, the telltale picklock's keys, and the money, 15,000 pesos, a fraction of what she'd taken, a paltry sum for the destruction it had wrought. Western Police Station. As they led her way, the weight of the whisper was gone, replaced by the crushing silence of consequences. She looked back, not at her house, but at the fading figure of Father Tout, a silent apology in her eyes. The journey to the Western Police Station detention facility was just the beginning. Her story, once a desperate secret, was now a global warning. In the digital age, under the blinking eye of a camera and the relentless pursuit of justice, no shadow could hide forever. And sometimes, the heaviest chains were forged from the desperate choices we make for love. The air in the room was cold. Elaine didn't just confess to the night at the parish. She had moved through Region 7 like a shadow, targeting the very sanctuaries meant to offer peace.
"It was for my children,"
she whispered, the oldest excuse in the book. Yet the evidence on the table told a different story of materialism. She also admitted that she is familiar with the House of Providence because for a year ago, she went to Father Tout to ask for financial help regarding the medication of her son. Elaine now has another live-in partner with 3 children whom she met in the prison cell last 2021. She separated from his second husband. The inventory of a single day. The investigation revealed a staggering reality. In less than 24 hours, the 6-digit money of Father Tout had spent every waking hour earning through the grueling schedule of Misa de Gallo and New Year's Masses was gone. Father Tout's forgiveness was immediate, but his responsibility was to the children. He gave her a choice: return the 6-digit amount, or the law must take its course.
"I forgive you as a man of God, but that money belongs to the orphans who have nothing. I cannot give away what isn't mine to lose."
Despite the grace period offered, the money never returned. The desperate mother had spent the future of dozens of children in a single afternoon of shopping. The final deception. Even in custody, the dark motive emerged. Elaine proposed a solution. She asked to be the one in charge of selling the recovered motorcycle and electronics, claiming she could get a better price to pay Father Tout back faster. It was a clever ruse. Behind the mask of repentance was a calculated gamble. She didn't want to pay the father back. She wanted to liquidize the evidence to fund her own bail bond. Justice isn't just about catching the person. It's about the reality of what was lost. Father Tout continues to rebuild what was taken, one mass at a time. We often look at a crime and see a criminal. We look at the blue bag and see evidence of a sin. But when we look into Elaine's life, we see a woman who wasn't just running from the law. She was running for her life and the lives of her 3 children. Elaine stole from a house of God. To some, that is the ultimate betrayal. But let me ask you this. Is God more offended by a hand that reaches into a donation box out of desperation, or by a world that allows a mother to have no other choice? Elaine was trapped between a husband's fists and a child's hunger. The 300 pesos quota she had to meet wasn't just a number. It was the price of her safety. She didn't go to the church to find riches. She went because it was the only place where the doors were open when the rest of the worlds were closed. The law took its course because the law is blind. But we, you and I, must have eyes that see. Mercy was offered by the priest, yet justice demanded its due. It's a bitter ending. But here is the Qing's perspective for today. We live in a world that is quick to judge the stolen cash in the blue bag, but slow to see the broken spirit that carried it. Let us not wait for people to reach their breaking point before we offer them the grace they deserve. Because sometimes a person doesn't steal because they've lost their way. They steal because they've lost their hope. If you were the judge in Elaine's case, would you have chosen the law, or would you have chosen mercy? Tell me your perspective in the comments. Let's talk about it. If you believe every mistake has a lesson, follow for more life perspectives.